not on board, or your significant other. That's a heartfelt cry I hear often. And I want to address that today. There are a lot of different angles. When somebody says, what do I do if my husband's not on board with this whole farming thing? Well, what do you exactly mean by that? Because there's a lot of things that can go into that. He doesn't want to have anything to do with farming. He hates the smell. He hates the dirt. He hates being so far away from all the lights and busyness of the city. And I get that. I have good friends that they just love the city. Easy, girl. Hey. So, why is it that you say your husband is not interested in getting on board with you? Is it really because he hates anything to do with the farm and doesn't want you to even grow a tomato plant? I suppose there are situations. There might be situations like that. But, that's not the norm. The first thing I would say is communicate. Just have a sit-down conversation with your husband. Just ask him, what does he feel like? And, how does he feel? Because he already probably knows that you have a passion for farming, but he might not know why. He might not know what your definition of farming is. You might not know what his definition of farming is. What if he sees farming as a muddy mess? Now, granted, there's definitely a lot of that. What if you and he have two totally different views of what farming is? Well, then maybe you guys need to have a conversation as to your definitions. That might be the first place to start. What does he think of when he hears you talk about farming? What does he think of when he hears you talking about becoming self-sufficient? How does that make him feel? Sometimes that might make him feel like you think he's insufficiently providing for your family. Maybe he takes it as a personal offense, that you feel like he's not doing a good enough job and therefore you need to, do more. That might not be the case for you at all. You cats have had enough. You don't need more. That's how you know it's cold outside. There's a lot of reasons that husbands may not be on board. We as wives, it would do us well to just kind of find out where they're coming from. We so badly want them to know where we're coming from. I think it's important to recognize where they're coming from too. And just as much as we want them, our husbands, to support us in homesteading, they so desperately want our support as they fight to take care of their families in this crazy time we're living in. And we as wives would do well to remember it goes both ways. more often than not, our husbands love us and want to support us, but they also would like that in return too. Hey guys, producing any eggs yet? No eggs today. Sometimes our husbands would support us if they knew exactly how. You know, when we say, you don't support me in my dreams, well, what does that look like? Sometimes we need to spell that out. And how are we supporting our husbands? What does that look like? Cleaning the house, making meals for him. Okay, so how does that translate in him supporting us? Maybe that's just simply allowing us the freedom to do that. If I know in my case anyway, my husband is working 2 jobs, meaning he's hardly ever at home. And he hardly ever gets enough to sleep. But in doing that, he is supporting me on the homestead. He's often not home for me to milk, to help me with milking. But if I need to move around bale and he's in the area, he'll help out. You know, my husband did not grow up on a farm. I did. And, you know, I see all these YouTube families and that I follow, and I just love how the husband and wife complement one another. And I would love to have that someday, and maybe I will someday. You know, we'll see. I don't know what's in store for us, you know, years from now. But for right now, I'm alone. And maybe you are too. And maybe you're feeling very alone right now, especially when it's cold outside and you're working alone. I can understand how frustrated that feeling can be. It's just important to step back and remember, why am I doing this? Am I doing this so that I can make my husband do it with me? Really, do we want helpers to begrudgingly help us? Or do we want them to fall in love with homesteading and have a passion for homesteading like we do? Well, of course, as a mom of 5 kids, I don't like helpers that are complaining all the time. I would love to have somebody who's passionate about the farm like I am. And I would love that in my husband too. But it takes time. You know, when we first started our homesteading journey at our previous location, my husband didn't really support it. I didn't have much of a garden. And when we had chickens, he thought that was cool and stuff. And I think the catalyst for him getting a farm, for him it wasn't the freedom to grow our own food. For him it was the freedom to be away from neighbors who were trying to tell us how to live and what our yard should look like. And, you know, something that they didn't like, the clothes that our kids were wearing. That was pretty much the reason we bought this place, for in his mind. In mine, I was thinking, oh, farming, chickens, garden, and then eventually maybe a cow. That was what was in my mind. But that wasn't my husband's dream. He supported it, and the more he learned about it, the more he was like, yeah, I can see how this is a good thing. Go for it. Yeah, that can seem a little bit like, what, all on me? Well, think about it. If I think about it for a minute, how is he going to do much of anything? If he can help out once in a while, that's great. But to be routine-oriented, like my animals need me to be, where I'm out there every single day taking care of my animals, He can't do that. He might be on the road. So it doesn't make any sense for him to have his set of chores. We have talked about it, that he would do certain things and help out with certain chores. But his lifestyle just does not allow for that right now. That doesn't mean he's against me. He supports my dream. I support his dream. And as long as I approach, struggles that we're having with, hey, what do you see is happening here? What do you see is the problem here? Not, hey, I got a problem with what you're doing. More, what do you see as the problem here, and what can I do to make it better? That makes my husband feel like I actually care what he thinks. I always tell him what's going on with the homestead. I tell him the exciting things, and right now especially, he's getting more and more excited about the homestead and wants to promote it and wants to do everything he can for it, because he's out there every single day. He sees what's happening. And he sees the insecurity out there. So he definitely is seeing how this is a needful thing. That doesn't mean I roll over and just let it happen what happens. But it does mean that I seek the happiness of my husband more than my own happiness. And I find that by bringing happiness to my husband, it does give me inner joy and peace, because I am making others happy. And that makes me happy. It makes me feel fulfilled. If I just have this selfish desire for everybody else to make me happy, that's not going to help anybody. That's not benefiting a community, because a community to help one another, that's helping one another. It's not everybody help me. It's not my husband help me. It's me bringing happiness and joy to my husband. I often think about what it would look like if my husband was at home. And I've mentioned that a couple of times, but I have to be careful. I don't want it to come across to my husband that I feel like he's not good enough the way he is. I mean, good heavens, I'm not good enough the way I am. I mean, look at my messy house. But for me to point fingers at my husband and say he's not doing enough, he's not supporting me, who am I to talk? Yeah, I'm working hard. I'm working really, really hard, but I have a warm house, and I have a bed to sleep in. My husband doesn't get to sleep in that bed very often because he's working so much. I can have a nice morning with coffee, with reading, sitting in front of the fire. But my husband is out on the road already working. In our family, I do a lot of the finances, but my husband is working to bring in those finances. So he needs to be a part of the decision-making process. Does it feel like my husband doesn't support me in homesteading? Feel like it? Sometimes. But I know that's not true. He supports me just as much as he possibly can. I support him in his 2 jobs. That doesn't mean I can go out and help him with those jobs. But just because I can't go out and help him with his jobs, that doesn't mean I don't support him. I will still make a meal for him when he gets home, a nice meal. I will still get his laundry done. I will still clean up his laundry. I'm still going to do those things because that's how I can support him. Flip it over. How can he support me? He's working 2 jobs. For some of you, your husband may be only working 1 job, and it may be a salary position. It may be just a 9 to 5. I get it. But talking and asking questions of him and asking him why he felt the way he did, and in his mind's eye, what would that look like? And, things like that. When he saw that I was genuinely interested in what he thought and in how he felt about something, he softened up and he started being okay with learning something different. Something that my husband has said frequently is, if you want to do this, that's okay. But you got to know, I can't be there for you when something goes wrong. And, that's his way of saying, hey, if that's your dream, go for it. I support you. I'm going to encourage you, but I can't be there to help you. How many of you women feel like you can be one or the other, but you can't be both? You can be the one that's working outside and taking care of all of the animals and filtering the milk, making the butter, making the yogurt, making the cheese, but keep up with the dishes and the laundry. I'm looking at some stuff online. I would love to be that wife that dresses up in the 1950s dress with the high heels and the pearls and looking so perfect and so gorgeous. I would love to be that. But I can just picture myself dressed up like that, looking outside and seeing one of my cows out of the pasture. Like I'm going to be able to run out in my high heels and pearls and go chase down a cow. Yeah. Know your limits. If you start to develop a homestead because in your mind you dream of this beautiful homestead with a herd of cows, goats, sheep, pigs, chickens, turkeys, ducks, and a great big garden, and then you discover you can't do it all, and then you get mad at your husband because he's not pulling his own weight, there's something wrong there. And ladies, I'm sorry. You can't do everything. Now, maybe you're a superhuman, wife, and that's fine. You're way better than I am. I would recommend only do on the homestead what you can do on a medium-ish feeling day. On your best day, you may be able to handle a ton of things, but how many best days are you going to actually have? On your worst day, you may be lucky to get your slippers on and go milk a cow, and that may be it. So don't judge it by your worst day either, because you're not going to have those all the time. Judge your homestead and what you can manage based on a medium-ish, average-ish kind of a day and how you feel. For me, that's about 2 pigs I can manage, sort of, but I have my son to help me with that. I think if it was just me, I wouldn't have pigs. So all that to say, ladies, start small. Maybe it's just a patio garden. Maybe it's helping your husband fall in love with homesteading as you bring home vegetables, eggs, milk from local farms. And as your husband discovers the joy of these farms, ask him to go with you to a farmer's market. That's going to get conversation going, and you're going to find out what really piqued his interest. What really piqued his interest? What did he like about the farmer's market? What did he think was pretty cool and pretty special? Have him go with you to pick up milk. Call around to some local farms, see if they would be willing to host a tour for your family, and go as a family and just enjoy yourselves. And there are farms in the area, just little homesteads. Mine is one that you can go and visit and get to know the animals, get to know that farm and their family and how they make it work. When we schedule a farm tour, I try to make it so that it's on a day when my husband is at home, so that he can kind of come alongside that husband and help him understand what this is going to be like. And that it's not as scary as a lot of guys think it is.
Drive the same roads every day. We both get there our own way. Thistle and an apple tree, how different two souls can be. But we both grow from the same sorrow. If we both know we'll be together tomorrow, I can be like a tree in the wind. Same old roots, but I can bend, turning to understand and sway together. Now it's almost like a dance, the rendering of stubbornness, and it just cuts us deeper through the longer I'm away from you. Yeah, we fight good, we make love better if we both know we'll be together forever. I can be like the tree in the wind, same old roots, but I can bend, learning to understand and sway together. Nothing worth having comes easy, baby. Nothing worth having comes easy, baby. Nothing worth having comes easy, baby. Yeah, we fight good, we make love better if we both know we'll be together forever. We can be like the trees in the wind, same old roots, but we can bend, learning to understand and sway together. We can be.
You saw on the video, our bull was pushing his head through the little window near the milking area. So I had to real quick rake up any hay that was on the ground to hopefully discourage him, and then throw some hay into the stall just to keep his big body inside the stall and not trying to get out. Bulls are destructive. They just really are. Even a super gentle sweetheart like Dalton, he is destructive. He doesn't mean to, he just is. So if you are alone, ladies, and you're having to take care of some cows by yourself, I don't recommend you own a bull. I can get away with it because I have sons who help me take care of the bull. And we are blessed to have a very sweet bull. But ladies, I do not recommend you have a bull and manage your herd by yourself unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, so we're gonna go unroll a round bale out in pasture, move the cows out, bring in the babies to clean up the leftover hay from the other cows and kind of just reconfigure their pasture situation. And I have to fill up another tank of water for the big cows because they're no longer going to have access to the one that they have had. So we got a lot of work to do. It's going to be outdoor work, and because the temperatures are a little bit warmer, this is the day to do it. We're still in for some super cold temperatures, and we need to make sure that this happens as soon as possible. So let's get going.
I still recall the first time I saw you. I was so nervous to talk. Happened so fast. Went from so lonely to falling asleep in your arms. I used to be afraid to fall in love. My past relationship was a disaster, but now I don't care. 'Cause you took my scars, bruises and broken heart, numbed all the pain, showed me how to heal, and now I don't feel broken anymore. Still got your smell wrapped in my bedsheets. Don't wanna wash it away. I know sometimes I get too caught up in all of the wrong things, but you're always there to guide me. I used to be afraid to fall in love.
So right now we have the big cows, let's see, out in our third pasture, and we started rolling the hay bale out because we currently do not have a round bale feeder. That is thanks to our bull out there who loves to play with anything big and heavy. So we've just been rolling the bale out along the ground, and honestly that's what we did in this pasture here where the babies are, and there's almost zero waste, and it spreads the hay out a little bit so that they're not pooping on it in one area, or it's not killing the grass in one area. And so we just opened this pasture up for the babies. They've been hanging out in that small paddock area up there by the barn. So we just opened them out, and Molly was going crazy.
Be afraid until I met you. I was insecure, caught up in the pain, but you showed me how to heal. Took my scars.
So just gonna wrap up a little bit of this video about what to do if my husband won't support me on the homestead. I hope this has been a little bit helpful to you. Ladies, you can do this. You just have to pare it down and bring it down to something that you can manage. You know, it doesn't make any sense to have a farm that's so enormous that it burns you out, burns your husband out. Your relationship with your husband is more important than anything. So, and again, this is my opinion. And then just remembering, if this isn't your husband's passion, don't force it on him. Let him see how beautiful it is through how you're managing it, that he falls in love with your dream. And then maybe fall in love with his dream too. Let it go both ways. I hope that this has been helpful to you. It's been something that's been really on my heart a lot recently. And I just wanted it to be an encouragement to you. And then husbands, fall in love with the dream of homesteading. There's really nothing more rewarding than growing your own food on for your family on your own property, and then just notice how hard your wife is working, and you know, it's a partnership. Marriage is a partnership. It's teamwork. So it's got to be give and take on both sides. Just keep on hanging in there, and let me know if there's something that you have questions about. You know, just leave me a comment, and I will respond. Subscribe, and I will hopefully be putting out more videos like this. And again, if I know what topics are near and dear to you, then I can see if I can address some of those as well. And if I don't know anything about them, I will go ahead and tell you. Now, if you ask me a question about sheep or goats, I'm not going to have a clue what to tell you, but I will direct you to somebody who does. I know of some homesteaders that definitely have a lot of good experience with sheep and goats. So, you know, if there's a question that you have, leave it in the comments. I'll get back with you. Okay? Happy farming, everybody. Stay safe out there.
'Cause you took my scars, bruises and broken heart, numbed all the pain, show me how to heal, and